Hello everyone, this is Satvik and welcome to the first episode in Windows Privilege Escalation series. And in this video, we'll be seeing some basic introduction as well as the enumeration stuff and some other basic stuff which is related to this part. So without getting any delay, let's dive into the video. Guys, first of all, really thank you for all your support. If you want to connect to me personally, you can check out my Twitter and the LinkedIn. The links in the description below. And if you want to be part of my community where you can share your doubts or queries or anything like that, you can check out my Discord server. The link in the description below. So previously in my channel, we covered Linux privilege escalation series, and I got a lot of requests for the Windows privilege escalation. So this here it is, and you can see that we have a room so which is available for free. You don't need to set up a lab, you don't need to have anything like that. Okay, just having a TryHackMe account is absolutely fine, and also having some basic understanding of how to get initial access is also absolutely fine. Okay, so we got a machine here, and also guys, I will be providing you a small notes, a short notes kind of thing. So this is my notes, so I'll be uploading today or tomorrow in my GitHub repo. You can do check them out there. So this is a kind of handbook, so if you want to see here and there, you can use this book and you are good to go. You can see we have this room. I started up the machine. You can see there is some small stuff here. So you can see there is a deploy vulnerable machine. So in order to deploy this, so we need to have an RDP session, guys. Like in Linux privilege escalation, we've seen how we can connect through the SSH. SSH is kind of simple, but here we need to have some kind of RDP connection. So let's open my machine. So let me connect to my VPN. Okay. Oh, it is going, the file name is going to be different for each one of you guys. You can see there's initialization sequence completed, in the sense like it is connected. So you can verify that. Okay, so like IP space A, you can see there is a new interface TUN0. That's fine. So let's navigate to a directory where I like working. I have some few files. Let us remove everything. Now you can see we don't have anything here. So what we'll try to do is like we'll try to connect to this RTP session. Okay, so there are two tools, guys. First of all, so you can use any tool of your choice. Here the other has given R free DP. It's fine. You can use something like Remina. Okay, so there is a tool called as Remina. It's a graphical user interface, and it is kind of slow in my personal observation. But there is a fast tool called as R desktop. So it's like a fast thing. Our desktop, you need to provide the username here, guys. You need to remember the user credentials as well. So it is user, so this is like initial access, so they doesn't require you to know, like hack into the machine to get initial access. So they are giving you the user credentials here. So user and the password 321. So that's the thing, user and -p password 321. And now let's paste the IP address. Okay, so this is how you can connect. Okay, so first time it is going to ask you for the certificate, trust, etc, like that. So you need to hit yes. Okay, if you hit no or type no, then you are not going to get a connection. You can see we get a easy connection here. Okay, and also guys, don't hit Control C or anything like that in this session. So if you want to work with a new session, open a new tab where you can work. You can hit Control Shift T so that it opens a new tab like this. Okay, and you can see like this particular room or this particular machine is kind of configured in such a way that it's vulnerable, and we can practice almost all these attacks. Okay, so that's the thing, guys. So that is the basic thing we need to do. So the reason I'm covering this is like most of you guys are new, and I know that how hard it is going to be. So, and also guys, now what we need to do is like, so it's always a best way, like you cannot always operate on this machine. Okay, so what we will be requiring is like we want some kind of reverse shell, okay, or some kind of command line session on our attacker, on our Kali machine. So for that we'll be creating a small payload which is not related to like not completely related to the Metasploit. We'll be using Netcat in order to listen for the connections. Okay, so but it's your choice, guys. Like so MSF, and like you can create some other sessions as well. So Windows, okay, slash x64. Okay, so or else you can see there is a guide here, or else I'll be leaving you the link for the good MSF Venom cheat sheet kind of thing, so you can do check that out. Okay, so it's going to be shell underscore um, reverse. You can use anything, so I'll be going reverse TCP. Okay, and let's find out the L host. So let me open a vertical tab here. So let's resize this a bit if possible. No, it is not possible. Okay, so let's go with IPA. You can see this is the IP address of my machine. So then what we need to do is like L host. So let's provide the option L host. Okay, so remove this subnetting and stuff. So let's also give an L port, which is going to be of my choice. Like it can be anything of your choice, guys, but I will give 444. Okay, and hyphen platform is going to be Windows. Sometimes it is throwing error for me, so I'm giving this option as well. And also the format is the important thing, because there are a lot of what you call payload types for Windows. So it can be an MSA Microsoft installer, or currently we'll be working with exe executable, and let's name it as shell underscore 444 dot exe. The reason why I'm giving this number is like I'm will be creating some other payloads as well, so it is always a better way, or the naming convention, if it is like this, it is going to be better for you. Okay, so and one thing what we need to do, like we created a payload here, and we'll be transferring this payload from this machine to this machine. Okay, so that we can get a command line session. Like mostly we'll be using command line session only, right? So that's the thing. Let's wait for some time, and you can see here they use some kind of ways to what you call to transfer the payload, but we'll be using a simple way. Okay, if you do, you can do ls. So let's create a what you call a connection kind of thing, so for hosting this particular payload. So we'll be using python 2 or python 3, anything is fine. Simple http server and port 80. Okay, so let's go to this machine once again. This session is going to be kind of slow, guys, because like this is a Windows machine. We all know Windows sucks, so make sure you are kind of bit patient enough. So if you can see, like it took like some time here for me, and the command is going to be simple. So search util. So there is a utility called as search util. So I mostly use this, guys. So you can use anything of your choice. So URL cache, so that's an option, and hyphen f, and you need to provide the IP address and stuff. HTTP colon let's do some kind of stuff like this. You can see we got all the stuff here. So HTTP slash slash 10.14.25.93, and since it's on port 80, you don't need to specify colon or anything like that. And let's provide the file name shell underscore 444.exe. So it's kind of simple. I'm going to provide this for you in the description or anywhere else. You can see it's kind of done, but what the mistake that I have done here is like you need to also provide the file name with which name it should be stored in this Windows machine. So I'll be giving shell.exe. So that's the reason you can see it is showing up all the what is written in that particular thing. So you can see like now it is written over here. If I do a quick dir, you can see there is a shell.exe here. So what we'll try to do is like we'll close this hosting and stuff, and we'll open a netcat listener. So lvp or nvlp, it's fine. So 444, let me hit enter, and let me simply run this thing. So you can do simply by shell.exe, and you can see you got a connection here. So like that's how you need to get like for the further stuff as well, you need to have a kind of command line stuff as well. So we are just using this netcat connection, netcat what you call listener. Sometimes we may be using meterpreter, like it is completely dependent upon the scenario, so it is going to be different. So in the place of x64 you need to provide meterpreter slash reverse TCP, and to go to this MSF console you need to open a listener, etc., like that. So that's going to be kind of different, but most of the time this works fine. And also, guys, I personally like using this netcat listener because it is kind of fast enough. So if you want to listen through MSF console, like you need to set up a lot of options, it is going to it is going to be time consuming. So that's how you can do it. So this is a small example. So we got an access to the machine. So the best and the first things that you can do is like gathering some information, right? So information gathering or enumeration, whatever you can call, is an important step. But here guys, you'll be only having a few stuff here. So first of all, let's discuss about the types of Windows machines available, accounts in the Windows machines most probably. So there is going to be some administrator account, some standard account or some normal user accounts, and some guest accounts. And if you take, there are going to be some groups as well. So let us assume there is a user called as Satvik, and there is a group called as administrator. So as the name suggests, it gives you whole admin rights. So if this particular Satvik is in that particular group, so this particular Satvik is like a kind of admin. So like that. Okay, and there is also an important account. So you cannot call this particularly, like you cannot call this an account, because like you can see something like NT system. So this is mostly for the Windows services. So sometimes what happens is, like, let us assume there is an SQL service running on a Windows machine. So it might be requiring admin privileges to start some services, etc., like that. So for that, the NT system account is used there. So it's a kind of account which runs with some high privileges. So even if you get an access to an administrator or this NT system, it's going to be absolutely fine. Okay, so that's the thing. And coming to the information gathering part, so I'll be leaving the link for this thing. So this particular guide, okay, so is kind of interesting guide, guys. So you can use this guide, but I'll quickly wind up. So you can simply type who am I slash priv or whatever you can call. You can see the current privileges, current user privileges. Okay, so but first of all, you can simply type who am I to find out which user you are. So the username is user, and this particular thing is the machine name, the name of this machine we hacked. Okay, so you can simply type who am I slash priv. Okay, so and also guys, try to make note of them, so it might be helpful for you in the future. You can see there are some few privileges and what is the state as well, and also the description. You can see a C shutdown privilege, so to shut down the system, but it is a kind of disabled for this user, right? And there are some other stuff as well, like net users. Okay, so if you want to see what all other users that are available on this machine, you can simply type net users. You can see admin of this administrator group, a guest, user. So there are some groups and some users as well. So if you want to find out more information about any user, so net user and admin. Okay, so it is going to tell you all the information about this user. You can see the admin, when he logged in, what is the last password time he did, kind of thing, etc., like that. Okay, so that's the thing. So those are like simple things, guys. You can see QW. So like sometimes you might also want to see, like, there might, if you take an Active Directory computers or anything like that, so within a system 2 or 3 people might be logging in at the same time, so there is a chance for that. So if you can simply type this QW insta command, so if you want to know more about these commands and stuff, there is a good thing, like you can simply search for this insta, and you can go there to the Microsoft doc. So this is a cool thing, so you don't need to remember all this stuff, but you can simply go through them if you want to learn more about them. System info, a net local group. So you can see, let's go there, local group, sorry. So it is going to show you all the group stuff related, what this particular user is related to, etc., like that. Okay, so groups available on the system. You can, if you want to know more about any group, you can simply type net local group and the group name. System info, you can use a utility called as find str. Okay, so in order to look for any stuff like that. Okay, so that's the basic thing, guys. So you can simply look into them. So there is also a tool called as SC. Okay, so it is related for querying the services and stuff. Okay, and drive query. So if you want to see more about the driver related information, you can see them. Okay, so that's the basic thing you can do. Like this guide is going to be useful for you guys, so I'll be leaving the link for this in the description below. But most probably the reason why I'm not covering all these things is, like, most probably we'll be using some automated scripts. Okay, but having a basic information is going to be fine. So that's the reason I'm quickly winding up this part. Okay, so and let's go to the next part. So there is something like Windows exploit suggester. We'll be covering that. But if you want to see some vulnerable software, so that's the basic part that we are going to do, right? So you can see, like, you can run this utility called as wmic. Okay, so you can get the information regarding some products that are installed on this machine, right? Let me paste this thing, let me hit enter. So it is going to show you product in the sense like the software or the applications that are installed on this machine. So this might be kind of hanging up your this machine because it is going to take up a lot of resources, that but that's fine. Okay, sometimes you can use this kind of thing. You can see there are few applications here. So the name, so these are like get, in the sense that there are going to be lot of columns, guys. So that's the reason we are only looking for few stuff. So name, vendor, and the version. So sometimes this version might be vulnerable. You can copy them, you can find it on exploit db or anywhere else on search exploit. You can search from anywhere and it's going to be fine. Okay, but if you want to see which are running, which the services which are running, so most probably in Windows plus Escalation we'll be working with services and stuff. Okay, so you can see there are few services here. So don't worry, guys, all these commands, this is my notes, I'll be providing it to you. You can check it out in the description. It is going to work fine. You can see there are few services which are running, port, etc., like that. Okay, so that's a good not port, this is like a process id, and how it is running. So it is auto, manual, is currently running or not, etc., like that. Okay, so that's the thing. And coming to the main part, so no one is going to run all these commands by like remembering all this stuff. So most probably we'll be using some kind of what you call an automated stuff, right? So if you come back to this thing, come back to this room, and if you go to the end part, so this is called as like privilege escalation scripts. So this should be included somewhere in the starting, but that's fine. You have some few what you call applications or scripts or whatever you can call, binaries, whatever you can call, which are like kind of useful for you in gathering the information. So you have WinPiece, you have seatbelt, power up, PowerShell script, and you have them sharpup.exe. So these are some applications, but mostly I'm using this WinPiece, like, and also it is working fine for me, guys. Like, I've been using this on almost, I used it on almost all the Windows privilege escalation required stuff, machines or whatever you can call, and it worked absolutely fine for me, right? So that's the thing. So what you need to do is, like, you need to always keep a copy of this WinPiece. Okay, you can download it from the location anywhere else like this. Okay, so let me open a new tab. I already downloaded it. So I have a directory for privilege escalation. If you do, you can see there is a WinPiece any.exe. So any in the sense like it will work for 32-bit as well as for the 64-bit. The only thing you need to do is, like, you need to transfer this payload or transfer this application to this target machine. So it is going to be simple. Python 2, or there is a module simple HTTP server on port 80. Okay, so in Python 3 also there is some module like http.server, so you can use that, it's fine. Let's go back. Search util, so we'll be using search util once again. -url cache -f http://. Okay, so let's find the IP once again. So it's kind of new or intimidating for me to do this every time, but I need to remember that the next time. 93, I think. I need to check it once again. Yeah, 93. Cool. And what is the file name, which is going to be WinP? So I'm just copying, guys, so I don't want to waste any time. So copying, and I'm going to paste with the same name. Sometimes you might be having some less, what you call, like, you might not be having privileges to write in some directory. So in that case, you can go to cd/tmp or temp directory, which is wherever it is available, and it will work fine. But currently I can write in this location, so I'm doing that. Okay, so that's the thing. So if it's not permitting you to do that, then you can change the location to temp or whatever it is, and it will work fine. So let's start. So WinPiece. Okay, so you don't need to run this by default. There are some few options here. You can see few options here which are like kind of useful, you can call. Okay, so most probably I will be running only few options, guys, because what happens is like sometimes this session might get crashed. Okay, let us assume you want to find out some system info. So what you can do is you can add an option system info. Okay, it will only provide you the information in system info, and you can see it is same like lin piece only. You can see if it is red, you need to reconsider that green. There are some different colors for different stuff. Okay, you can see the host information, a host name, edition, the release ID, etc. like that. Like it is telling you the version, what you call the OS system related information. And the best part is like you can see for which exploits it is vulnerable for. So CVE 2019.1315 is vulnerable. There is also a guide for that, so it can be YouTube or whatever it is. So which you can use that. And then the next part we'll be using something called as Windows Exploit Suggestion. So this particular tool is kind of having all that. We'll be doing all that stuff, but in the next video we'll be discussing about Windows Exploit Suggestion. So it's a kind of good go-to in order to exploit this kernel exploits and stuff. That's the next part, guys. Okay, so you can see which is what are the drivers that are Microsoft updates, the fix IDs, etc. like that. You can see what is the description, what that update has made, etc. like that. Okay, and some names, etc. like that. Okay, I think this is from the registries and keys, I think so. So sometimes it might be showing you the usernames and stuff as well. Sometimes the passwords, we don't know what we might find. So it's always a better way to read what it is in red. Okay, so there is some kind of stuff going on over here. So cached credentials. Okay, AV information, antivirus information. So in my notes here, if you observe previously, you can see almost all this stuff you can see here. So that's the beauty of this automated scripts, and this is working absolutely fine, guys. There are other alternatives as well, like seatbelt or power up or sharp up. So but I personally like using this WinPiece, and it's completely your choice, guys, to use whatever tool that you like. Okay, so some kind of information like internet information over here. You can see always install elevated. So this is like kind of things that we are going to exploit in future. So this is related to something like a Microsoft installer always install elevated thing. So this red part is kind of really interesting for us to look for. Okay, you can see there is some printers as well, some printer information. Okay, some events or pipes. Like this is the basic thing you can do, right? So and also if you want, you can try and check out all these options here. So like you can simply run this winpiece.exe. It is going to show everything. It is going to run all those options at a time. But what happens is like you cannot scroll up sometimes, so the session might be crashing. Like you can see there is some information above, but it is kind of, the session is kind of crashing kind of thing. So that's the reason I like running the specific options that they provide. So let us assume that I want to see what is the system related info. I'll run a system info, user info. If I want to see about registry, etc. like that, I'll be using those options which I like. Okay, so let's see what are other options that we have. So mostly what I use personally is like Windows creds. So sometimes this might be interesting for you. Okay, so you can simply run this thing. Okay, so what it is going to do is like it is going to find out the credentials of Windows and stuff. You can see that we got the hash of this user. But sometimes what happens is like we might be not knowing the password of the user that we logged in, so it is going to be kind of hard. Okay, you can see there is some credential files, etc. like that. So which we'll be looking in the future, guys. Okay, so this is a kind of just, I'm just trying to show you what this tool can do. So use these options. So if you want to see about processes info, you can go there, users info, system info, domain info, like whatever it is you have here. Okay, what we'll be using mostly is like system info, user info, sometimes process info, and the services info will be working most of the time, and the files info. So here we'll be checking with the regex and etc. stuff like that, events info sometimes, and things like that. Okay, so that is it, guys, regarding this thing. So privilege escalation script, so this is like go to, so whenever I get an access to the Windows machine which I am like a normal user, so I try to upload this WinPiece script which I really like, and I like working with that, and the output is kind of informative for me. So compared to that of other tools, like, it's your personal preference, guys, to do what you can. Okay, so what we completed till now is this path, till a basic information kind of thing, like introduction kind of thing. So in the next part we'll be working with the kernel exploits and stuff, or what you can call like some other like insecure service permissions. Okay, or the next part will be running them. So most probably in the next video we'll be using how the technique, how you can exploit the kernel, so which is kind of useful as well. And from then we'll be start working on this insecure service, the service exploitations, etc., like that. So that is it, guys, for today's video. This video is kind of bit lengthy, so, and also I hope you learned something new by the end of this session. If you really like this video, make sure you like it and do share with your friends who are really interested in this stuff. This is Satvik signing off, and I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you.